I'm going to do this review on this lovely Saturday on, what is today? I think it's December 18th, and it's pretty hot. It is inside, it's 73, and we turned the air off, not the air, I turned the air on, and the heater is off. Originally it was 74 before I turned on the air. So we're sitting comfortably at 51% humidity, and everybody is looking good. However, hush, you already ate. However, these are not looking good. So let me do this. I don't think, we only have red, blue, and purple. So we're gonna turn this off. So I'm going to take this out because it needs to. So here's the first one. She is the firstborn. She's the biggest, and as you can see, it's pretty floppy. It's pretty set where it is. Now, this root is growing. This root has grown quite a bit. And it still has the green tip. And this root had, I don't remember what it's called when it grows like a secondary extension. This is how these two are looking, and they look pretty good, kind of like twins. And you know, surprisingly, this was the third child, just like, you know, you have the unexpected third child. So it was, you know, pretty far down, and I was really taken by surprise. And okay, the first video, well, this most recent video I uploaded, the update, which was back in September, and you know, I was trying to, you know, make this update, but I didn't quite have the energy for. And I'm really sorry that I can't get a better shot, you know, a better focus. The lighting is, I don't want to show you my dirty room. This is terrible. This newest leaf has dried up, and I don't know why. And the good news is this root is growing. Like, it was just a little nub, and I wasn't sure if it was really gonna it was stalled. That's the word I'm looking for. If it was stalled, but it's steadily growing. And my newfound school of thought is that if it ain't broke, don't fix it. And if it's growing, it's happy, as Terrell would say from Orchids for Dummies. And here is, you know, how the whole thing looks. It's dying. So being that, okay, the whole story, I hope you can see where the new leaf was growing. I have a video on that. And it was growing. It was making progress, because there was 3 leaves total, and they just slowly fell off. There was this third one growing, new growth. And when okay, we all know that once a spike starts turning brown, it's getting ready to die. I'm not sure what I'm going to do with these. From what I've read, you can just pluck them off and like just kind of twist them off, or cut this, cut the spike. And then I'm thinking I'm just gonna drop it into some sphagnum moss and just let it root from there. Like let the roots grow in from there, the ground. Or so here's what I'm calling this one, Mother Orchid, because it's my Mother's Day orchid my brother bought me. And it had 3 spikes. This one is purple. It's like a little spotted purple. I'm thinking this is kind of a terminal spike, which I already mentioned in the last video. But that's just my theory. It might not. It might not. This is the new leaf, the most recent new leaf, and it's very green. It looks very healthy and supple, and hopefully it grows really big and shows signs of good development, great health. This is my waterfall orchid, and it is potted in orchid soil, because I learned that looking at Amazon, and I saw orchid soil. I think I read about it too on some Facebook groups. And orchid soil, I don't really know much about it. I need to look into it more. We have sphagnum moss on the top. I kind of brushed off what it had because it was just overfilled, and I always take out the plastic pot from the decorated pot just because they get, I don't know, it's better in circulation. So we have a new leaf finally. No new roots in sight. I had lost about 2 or 3 leaves, because as you can see there's only 2, and luckily we'll be having 3 soon, and it'll balance out this orchid. We have one cute little air root, and it's actually gotten a tiny bit bigger. And this is the one I fertilized with rice water, which did good, but I think rice water is a very slow kind of solution. And I will do another video about what fertilizer I'm currently using, which is still kind of organic, but kind of chemical processed. And this one is sort of, I call her just #1 orchid white. It was on clearance. I have 2 of them, and I like white orchids. They're just very clean, crisp, and elegant. This one has a new leaf growing. It was growing 2 new leaves at the same time, and that was interesting, and it kind of stagnated, so I don't know what's gonna happen. And this one's really floppy, but it's a pretty big leaf. And I did lose 2, and it's kind of black. You know, it's doing okay. I don't think that there's anything to worry about. I don't water them very much at all. It's pretty much like 2 weeks before I water them. And I think as of lately, I am going to dunk them in water rather than pouring on the top, just for my orchids' health. I noticed they developed like that black stuff on the roots and the stem. So if you dunk them, you don't have to worry about, you know, the getting water between the leaves and into the crown or whatever. This one is still wet because I dunked it I think night before last, and she's just been trucking along, not doing much. See how there's like that black stuff? It has not caused me any problems. I have not cut the spike. And this one is potted in sphagnum moss, and this is a Chinette plastic cup. I like how sturdy they are. And at the bottom we have charcoal chips and some holes. And this is my Soko Vivian Leaf's Edge, which I've said this a million times. And it's doing pretty good. No roots that one new leaf. It's getting bigger than the last one. I think it's 2 new leaves in less than a year that I've had it. And this is my cymbidium. I love my cymbidium because it's the first orchid that I've gotten that's not a phalaenopsis. It's nice and luscious. See how big it's gotten since the last video, September. And here's my new pseudobulb. And after reading about it, it's pseudobulbs. And this one's from the Orchid Gallery greenhouse tour of the Orchid Gallery in 2 separate videos, part 1 and part 2. This one is Sarah Jean Ice Cascade. Like, I did not a full-on description of what this orchid looks like as what is it called, like bloom, fully grown, because I bought this one as a seedling. And if you're interested, please check that one out. This orchid is my orchid number 2, white, the second orchid that I got on clearance. So we have the roots, the black part, dun dun dun. And this root has really stagnated. It didn't grow anymore. They look, I mean, I wouldn't say they look bad. I mean, they're still kicking. The orchid is growing. This is a new leaf that grew, and I haven't watered. See how it's still damp? That is why I don't water them very much. Kind of some orchid root decay, but it's not bad. I just keep an eye on it. And I have these stems. I don't like cutting them off. This one has lost another 3 leaves. I have videos about what it looked like before this like started dying, but I really do think there is a root growing here. I'll keep you posted. It's so tiny, and a lot of times these little dimples, pimples, or whatever will grow into roots, but for whatever reason they didn't. We have 3 leaves. This one was the miniature that stagnated. It never grew out. It's like a jigsaw puzzle. I hate trying to move them around. Try to move them as little as possible. This is my original inverted orchid that I tried to pot. And once I reverted it because it wasn't doing well, the outside air root, I mean, they're all air roots, but the one that was going towards the air just completely died. And that's when I flipped it. I flipped it back in. And so we have 4 leaves, and it's been growing consecutive leaves. I think this one is the newest. The first one I had started to grow, and the rest of them died. This stem was even longer. In another video I cut it, so I think I lost 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 leaves. This is a really big orchid, and you know, a new update on this one is that this root is starting to extend, so it's a good sign. It's doing really good. And here is the other orchid. I really am not going to move this one because it is so unstable with these big leaves. It is very unbalanced, and then with these little 2 leaves, even more unbalanced. So this one is starting to grow. It's the newest leaf, and it's getting bigger, so that's a good sign. As you can see, it was growing a bunch of new roots, and this one was always in water culture. It was never inverted. I had this root that died. I put the water up to the end of this root, and then it died. So I was like, oh, okay, we'll get more roots in the water and it can be more hydrated, and it just died. I don't know why they do what they do, but yeah. And if you can possibly see, this green root is like kind of broken, but it's hanging on, and it's obviously doing something, and it's growing. Like I said, when it's growing, it's happy. If it's doing anything and it's growing, I'm happy, so I leave it alone. And this is about how big it's gotten. You can see it's kind of broken here, but like I said, I just leave it alone. And this one has always been my most successful one. It originally had these 2 roots, and then eventually they died, and then it's grown these 2 new roots that have gotten really long, and it was starting to die in between, and I was like, oh God. But I mean, it's still doing stuff, and it's growing. Is that the one? And that's not the one, but the other one, and it has some dead spots. I know it's hard to see. I don't want to move them. I just really don't want to move them. I don't like moving them. But it's doing good, and it's growing an extension. And this is not from the dead part of the stem, like from a dead leaf. It's from the green part, which is a very good sign. And because it's still doing its thing. And this one has like a tiny bit of green still left, which I always think is good, because it can still like grow longer. This one does too. This one barely does, but hanging on to the hanging on. This one has been there the whole time. It's survived. It's kind of wrinkly, but it's growing. Well, it's not growing, but it's still absorbing moisture. And this is a new leaf. Wait a minute. Yeah, this is a new leaf, and it's gotten longer than this one, which is a very good sign. I really don't want to move it. You can see how the bamboo is getting kind of light and limp, but there's a new leaf growth, and that's a good sign. Now, I don't like bamboo. I really don't like bamboo. It looks really cool. It's in like this braided design, but I just don't like it. I don't like how it turns really yellow easily, and I don't know how to make it turn green again. So yeah, I don't like it, but it's there, and it is growing the best. It is growing the most. It has flourished. It's got this really long green tip root, and it's got this one, which has gotten skinny though, but it's still green. And it also has one that's crawling along the back, and it is extended all the way out. I have a new leaf. I don't know if you can see it. I'm tall enough for this, but this is a new leaf too. And I think you can see it. And this is, I think this one was pink. Like I said, if it doesn't brown, I don't cut it off. At any time you can, now these are dead, sorry. These are dead. There's not going to be any new growth from it. There's not going to be any keikes, nothing. If anything, that might grow, but more than likely not. But like I said, I don't like to cut spikes. I don't care if they say that it'll divert energy to leaves and roots. I have not gotten that far ahead of the game in my experience and trusting myself, so I just don't do it. And this one, I don't know if this one was white or this one was pink, but one of them were. And I think that concludes all of my growth and development. I will be doing a video if I decide to do anything with these keikes. I will keep you guys posted, and I will keep you posted on this one if it survives. I will honestly say I do not care if it lives. It is just an experiment to see how long it can hold on, and you know, whatever it does. So in conjunction with my water culture rescue survivors, because these are the four that have been hanging on and kicking. And my special 2 orchids, my suitable, I hope that it will what is it called, spike within a year or 2. Probably not, but I'll be ambitious. And I haven't gotten any spikes. I have never gotten a spike. I am such a newbie, but I am starting to get growth and you know, leaves. I got root growth the beginning of this year, and hopefully I can continue to show everyone what I've learned. Fertilizer, I will briefly say that I'm using a pinch of Epsom salt, what is it called, 10 milliliters, between 10 and 20 milliliters of seaweed extract and cow mag. And I have stopped, you know, I vary the level of Better Grow fertilizer because it's winter. Is it winter? I don't know yet, but it's cold. Not today, but it's cold. And what else? The other part is I want to try to do a water testing video. I have a pH meter now and the ppm, so I will be testing my rainwater, and then what the parts per million for, you know, each item thing that I put in the solution. And yeah, that's about 3 videos that I'm going to be putting out soon. And I know it's been quite a while between my video uploads, but it's been very busy, and it's Christmas. I can't wait for Christmas. I will talk to you guys later.